All right, we're recording. Okay, here we go, you guys. Welcome again to our Team Fit Revolution, our Team FitFluence. You might be joining us from Team Fit Revolution or New Wave Community or Fortitude Fitness or Carla's Mastermind Group, whatever. You're welcome to be here, and I'm so glad you guys are here. And anything you can do to sponge and learn to apply your business, you are doing yourself and anyone else that you influence some wonders. So I love that you guys are all on. So I got some really, really great stuff for you. So I'm just going to dive right into it. Okay. So I wanted to talk specifically about how to focus your business into recruiting for coaches and building your team versus maybe the comfort zone that you've been in with just primarily inviting people to your challenge groups. So I'm calling this flipping your script. So basically you're flipping your script to inviting to your coach business, inviting people to learn about what you do. And I'm going to talk specifically, I'm going to give you 5 ways that you're going to change your mindset to allow that to happen. It's going to be a little bit of a transition, and I'm going to tell you it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable at first, and you may see a little bit of a lull in your business, especially if you are a challenge pack slinging machine. From a customer standpoint, that doesn't mean that you still can't be a challenge pack slinging machine. We're just going to change your mindset on how you're going to discuss that as a possibility for coaches, okay? So the great thing we have available to us is obviously social media. And regardless of what you want to share, whether it's a trip to the grocery store, your workout, or how much you loathe your boss or your neighbor. If you loathe your neighbor, hopefully they're not one of your Facebook friends. But as coaches, we're in the business of leveraging social media. We get to enhance our business and influence the lives of others because it's our secret weapon. Social media is our total secret weapon in sharing what we get to do. Okay. So I want you guys to think about that as your tool and your resource. Obviously, for those that know me, know how much I love social media, and that's the crux of my business. And likely it's probably the crux of yours too. So with any luck, you'll pick up something new tonight and how you can apply it. So I want to talk about how you're going to shift your mindset and how you're going to focus your invites and your shares to inviting your audience into your life of coaching and what it looks like for you and how it has become part of your lifestyle. Okay. So we live in a voyeuristic life now. I mean, like, that's just our society. People want to pry into other people's lives. That's how we escape. Okay. So that's how you can use this, how you can use Facebook and Instagram to allow people to kind of be a voyeur into your life in a positive way, right? So 5 ways we're going to shift our mindset. So get out your pen and paper. Okay. The first one is you're going to lead with the business. It's probably scary. And if you're inviting people in your challenge groups and you're finding that it's pretty easy to get those challenge pack orders, that's great. And you're probably pretty good at it. And even if you're not, if you're like, no, I don't know what she's talking about, I'm totally struggling. It's going to come. It's going to happen. But you have to continue to do the vital behaviors. You have to be willing to do the power hour activities in order to allow these to happen. Okay. So if you want the residual income to evolve, you guys have to lead with the business. That there's no other way around it, because the residual piece comes when you have a team that is building and duplicating like you are. So you may find that your income's going up because you are starting challenge groups every other month or every month, which is great. And you have those customers that are loyal to Shakeology, which is great. And you're getting commission from them, which is great. But your volume is just going up slow and slow and slow. And what you want to do is you want to see it uptick a little bit faster and faster. And that happens when you have coaches that are joining your business because they see how easy and fun you make it and the community that you're a part of. And they're duplicating because you're teaching them exactly what you're doing. Okay. So leading with the business is our first one. And so that when you lead with the business, we're going to talk about social media shares. The more you post about the business and what it's done for you or how you've made it a part of your lifestyle, whether you do work full time and you kind of do it as a hobby, maybe this is your full-time gig and you do it as you're sitting here rocking your kids to sleep on your chest. Or you're a mom to fur babies and you Do this alongside of 3 other things that you have going on. Whatever it is, people want to know how you make that happen, because that's your niche market. Your niche market is whoever is like you, right? So so my audience is going to be different than Shannon's audience, right? So she's going to talk and speak and share a glimpse into her life because she's got grown children. She has teenagers, right? I've got 2 school-age children and 2 babies. So my niche market's going to be completely different. And that's really kind of the beauty of it. But I'm going to give people a glimpse into how I make that through my social media. Okay? Because the more you post about it and the more you make it obvious what you do, people are going to start asking questions, especially when you're consistent about it and you're enthusiastic about it, you're passionate about it, and you're confident. People love confidence. People love to see that there's something that they have the ability to be a part of. So that's when people start reaching out to you and liking your or commenting on your posts that are, that's just going to take us into my next one here in a little bit. But our storytelling, those are the people that are starting to maybe be interested. So keep that in the back of your mind. But so you've got your social media shares, right? That's leading with the business. And then we get into our invitation process, right? So we have our 5-step invitation process for challenge groups, right? So pretty easy to get people jazzed on a program. I'm starting 21-day fix, or I'm doing summer strong. I want a group of people to do this with me for accountability, like pretty exciting to get people interested from a customer standpoint to get going with you, right? So instead of inviting them to a challenge group, as you're forming with them, right, you're finding out what's important in their life. What do they do? What do they like? What's fun for them? You're just getting to know them as a person. These questions you're asking them in hopes that they return and ask you kind of the same thing. So what do I mean by that? Kind of the age-old question of, what do you do for a living, right? So maybe they're a school teacher. Oh, that's awesome. What grade do you teach? How long have you been a school teacher? Has that been your goal? Have you always wanted to be a school teacher, like since you were little? You're asking them probing questions. And if you're listening to any of my team calls or on my team, my number one thing that I tell my coaches is you have to ask questions. You have to be asking questions and let them talk. Let them talk about themselves. Find out what their needs are, because you never know when there's going to be an opening for them to say, well, I actually dread my job. I actually hate it. I dread going to work, or my commute sucks. You get those little clues when you ask questions, because the biggest mistake we do as coaches is we assume that people need what we have without identifying that the need is there, whether it's for the business and them needing to make extra money, or that they have to lose weight. Because nothing is more insulting than getting a Facebook inbox message from somebody that you've never talked to or you've never heard from, all of a sudden inviting you to a challenge group. I feel like if that's happened to me, and I would almost be insulted if I've never had a dialogue with them, or it was the first, hey girl, how you doing? By the way, I'm doing a challenge group and I'd love to have you be a part of it, which, sounds kind of fun and exciting, and like I want to be a part of something. But if I'd never heard from that person before, I could be a little insulted, be like, well, wait, what's she saying? Maybe she thinks I'm fat on my pictures I've been posting. Maybe she thinks I need to lose weight. Maybe I didn't think I needed to lose weight, but now I kind of have a complex because she's saying something, right? So, that's maybe a little over the top, but you kind of get my point. And I think that we as coaches do that more often than not, is we assume people want to be a part of our challenges without finding out what their needs are first. So how do we know that somebody doesn't want to be a coach without asking questions about what they do? And with any luck, in return, they're going to ask you what you do, right? Well, what do you do? Gosh, it's been 20 years. I haven't talked to you in a long time. What are you doing? Well, I got out of corporate America about 10 years ago, and, I decided to stay home with my kids, and I actually I'm working with a company called Beachbody. I've been doing it for a number of years now, and it's been awesome. Like, I thought corporate America was my jam, but this is my jam. I get to do this while my kids are at school or while my kids are napping, or, you kind of fill in the blanks based on your personality. Or, if they don't probe that question, then you kind of answer it in a very non-discreet way. Let me see, an example would be, like, oh yeah, it's always been a dream of mine to teach third graders, let's say, okay? I love teaching kids. Maybe that's their answer to you. God, isn't that the best? I always thought my dream job for me, I always thought it was commercial real estate. True story. I thought that was my dream job. That was my passion. But then, I realized I got more joy out of helping people, and I love being able to do what I do right now. I'm excited. I actually get excited when people talk about their workouts and find joy in them. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, I never thought I'd be excited about that. So you're just kind of telling a story back about what you are enjoying. And even if that question doesn't come up, you can still kind of slide it in there without saying, I'm a Beachbody coach and I'm doing a challenge and you should join me, right? So you kind of get the scenario. This all stems from asking questions. I can't say that enough. When you're doing your invites, you've got to ask questions. Are we doing good so far? I'm going to check the chat screen, make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, good. All right, moving on. So number 2, you gotta tell a story. I kind of alluded to that in the first way to change your mindset, but you are telling a story about coaching. You're telling a story about what this has done for your life. And maybe this has not really done much for you yet financially, but maybe it's giving you something a little bit more to be excited about, something that you have ownership of now, something that you get to be a part of and you have a say in, whereas maybe your day job, you don't really have a say in. You just show up and you do what you're told and then you leave the office and everything stays at work. Maybe that's what your day is, but this is something that you have passion of and that you get to do. So letting people see that. And when I say tell a story, it's literally like, just think about, Shelley Hobbs did I think it was a best of the West call on it, or she did a leadership call on it. I can't remember if it was the national wake up call or what, but she is spot on with her storytelling posts. I mean, you would not think she was selling you anything, but you know what? You want anything that she has. And Danielle Natoni, she does a great job on this too. Kiana Hanna. I mean, there's some really, really great examples out there that you guys can go and see what these people are saying and get a variety of different stories that they're sharing. Janelle Summers, like these are some of the people that I look to their accounts. I kind of stalk them, yes, because I want to see what they're saying. Like, how are they relating to their audience? What are they doing differently, right? What story are they telling today? Because your story evolves as your business does, right? And I'm not telling you that you need to jam Beachbody down their throat and the income that you're making and the rank advancements that you're achieving. People don't need to hear that on a regular basis, but they may want to hear that you had an all expense paid trip. You just got back from a cruise that somebody else paid for. That you just got back from one of the biggest parties, Super Saturday, that, a quarterly party, or that you get to go to Nashville in July. Like, I've never been to Nashville. I'm so excited to go, and I get to go and be around 25,000 inspiring people. Like, that really gets me joy. That really gets me jazzed. Those kind of things. Like, people want to know a little bit about your life, right? Again, they're voyeurs. We are voyeurs because we're peering into other people's lives in a weird way. So I'm going to share with you guys a document that has ideas that you can post about out of certain categories. And let me give you some examples, because this is what I want you guys to think about as you're posting your next social media posts. And I'll say too, is make sure you know when your audience is on, because you don't want to be just kind of posting willy-nilly and be like, wait, nobody's responding to my stuff. Nobody's liking it. Nobody's commenting. And probably it's because they're not on when you are. And so you need to think about who your audience is. So if you haven't done that, pause and, well, not pause right now, but after this call, I want you to sit down and I want you to think about who your audience is. If you have a Facebook business page, I want you to look at your insights and find out when your market is on Facebook. When are you getting the most traction out of your posts? Yes, Facebook business pages are really wonky and the algorithms change all the time. And chances are, if you want your stuff seen, if it's a call to action post, then you have to pay for it, right? And, boost it for $5. It's probably worth it, especially if you're starting to make money. You want to start investing back into your business. But know when they're on. So when you're going to go and how, kind of generate ideas, I'm going to give you a couple examples. So I've got some categories, And I can't take credit for this because it's shared with me from another coach. But all these little categories are ideas of what you can talk about. You can talk about your freedom, your family, friendships you've made, personal development, financial gains, how you're able to help others, and maybe some examples within those categories. One example that I love seeing every month is one of our coaches, Trina. She gives her entire Beachbody check to one of her favorite organizations. And so she donates her entire commission for the month to, if I'm correct on this, I believe it's a new nonprofit or organization or a different one every month. I think that's the coolest thing. And she talks about it and shares about it and says what a gift it is, that Beachbody is not about the income for her. It's about her giving back. And she donates her entire month of commission to an organization each month. That's cool. And that's what people like to see, because they see that you really, truly do love what you do. And she is hustling, you guys. She's out there. She's building her team. She's sharing her story. She's training for a figure competition, a bikini competition. She did Ragnar. I mean, she talks about that because it's a part of her life. Okay. Maybe you're reading a really good personal development book. Why don't you share a nugget that you learned from it? Right. And it doesn't have to see, all these things don't have to say anything about Beachbody, but you're painting the picture about what these things that you've brought into your life, this personal development, maybe the community of coaches that you met at your local Super Saturday, having a team and accountability towards your business and showing up every day or getting your workout done. Maybe you talk about the company every once in a while. I mean, I say that lightly because I don't like seeing Beachbody in everybody's posts all the time. I think that when you're a rep for a direct sales company, people know that, Beachbody is a direct sales or network marketing, and there's so many network marketing companies out there, and there's nothing worse than all you see is that company that is in their posts. For me, it's a huge turnoff because that hasn't given me anything to know about the person and the value that they could bring to me, because I already know that there's a bag company out there. I already know that there's a skincare company out there, but I want to know what that skincare company has done to that individual. So I'm inspired and intrigued when they post before and after pictures of what that skincare has done to their customer or their client. I'm inspired when somebody shows me an office that's a complete mess and then it's been reorganized because they have some organization things from a bag company. Like those things are kind of cool to see. So that's what I want you to think about. Let me see if I got a couple more examples. Like nutrition, obviously. Snapping a picture and showing, or maybe doing a video of how you're preparing your meals for the week, or how you're preparing your meal for the evening if you've got a family. Like, what does it look like for you to put a meal together when you have kids running around, right? Just those kind of things. Recognition, maybe showing off, showcasing one of your challengers, or maybe one of your coaches that's doing something awesome. Something that has changed in your life. So you kind of get the idea. But I have like 23 categories: leadership, winning, creativity, the way you feel, your emotions, how you've improved personally, things that are completely random. And then there's a list of like probably, I don't know, anywhere between 15 and 20 examples within that. So my challenge to you guys tonight is, when you get this, I'm going to post it in the recording, and I'm going to post it in my group page. So I'll make sure to post it throughout some of the other groups as well. But I want you guys to take 20 of these, and I want you to write them down, and I want you to start incorporating them into your social media posts. And I want you to change the way you think about your sharing, your storytelling. Okay. All right, moving on. Number 3 is to create a marketing plan. So you have to know what your month is going to look like and what your week is going to look like. So what I mean by that, sit down with a blank calendar, whether it's a dry erase or you do it on your smartphone and you can see your whole month, which you probably can't on your smartphone, but you can on a pen and paper, and then you transfer it to some calendar of sorts. But what does your weeks look like? So maybe the first week of every month, you run a free 5-day challenge of some sort. Whatever it is. Could be clean eating group. It could be a booty challenge. It could be whatever. People love free stuff. It's a great way to get a new market of people, a new crop of people to talk to. Okay. Excuse me. The second week, maybe is the start of your next challenge group. The third week of the month is maybe when you run a 5-day sneak peek, or that's when a live sneak peek is being offered in your team or that you run yourself. And then maybe the fourth week is just kind of a transition week. It's letting you get geared up for the first month or the first week of the month. So create a marketing plan so you know what you are inviting to every single week. Because when you're consistent and you know that, you know what, this week you're going to focus on inviting people to the sneak peek, because you still want to invite people to the challenge groups. And I'm going to talk about here this in a second, kind of scenarios of how you could start with coaching and feed it into just a challenge group if someone's not interested in coaching. But have a plan. Know what you're inviting to instead of just kind of like, today I feel like inviting for a free group. And tomorrow I think I'm going to start inviting for a coach, a sneak peek, right? Have a plan so you truly are starting to operate and function as a business owner. All right. I'm just checking in to make sure I'm not missing anybody there. Cool. Everyone doing good? All right. I'm trying to cruise because I still want to get content out to you guys. And I also want to make sure I can answer any questions. Okay. So number 4 is the good, better, and best. So I forget the coach that talked about this, but I loved the application of it. Good, better, best. Basically 3 options to offer somebody that you are talking to during the invitation process. Okay, so this is how I break it down from a coaching perspective. So maybe they're curious about it and they kind of want to know a little bit more. So the best scenario is you tell them, for someone that's like, well, I don't really know much about it. What does it really mean? Well, here's 3 options that I see for it. Best option is you become a coach. Do you think you're coachable? Because you want to know if somebody's willing to learn something, right? If so, I'll teach you what I do and how I do it. It's really super easy. I do it around my kids. I do it around my full-time job. I do it around going to school. But what's worse, maybe you start making money. Maybe you get your Shakeology paid for. That's kind of the best scenario. What's better, kind of the second tier, you become a loyalty coach. Maybe you just enjoy Shakeology at a discount, and maybe you think about referring. We talk about how you can get your Shakeology paid for, how it can become a wash each month if you refer 3 people. And I could tell you how to do that. And it's not just going out there and begging somebody to buy it from you, right? So that would be kind of the better scenario. The good scenario is you enroll as a coach, pay the $39.95, maybe get a program, and we go at your pace. You just kind of work behind the scenes, see how it is, test run it, and then when you say go, then we go. And what's worst case scenario, you save 25% on anything that you want to order. So that's kind of how, like, the good, better, best from a coaching standpoint. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of take it into the scenarios. If you introduce the coaching opportunity to them and they're like, no, I'm not really into it. It's like, hey, I think you'd be amazing at being a coach. Here's why. You are awesome at social media. Or I love your photos that you post on Instagram. They're so inspiring. You've got to look into this to being a coach. Well, what's that mean? And you're not telling them here's the good, better, best. These are just kind of like little markers that you're running through in scenarios in your head. Well, you got to be a coach. Here's why. You're amazing. This is the best part of it. You're amazing at social media. You would do really, really well with this. And quite honestly, selfishly, I just want to work with you. I would love to work with you. Okay. And they're like, I'm not really into building business. That's just not my thing, but I do really want to get in the workouts. Okay. Well, how about this? Test run it for me. This is the better scenario. Test run it for me, because you buy the challenge pack. You can be a coach for free. Our coach fee is waived. And you can give it a run for 30 days. If you get into it and you're like, you know what, this is not what I wanted, then no problem. I'll make sure to help you assure that you don't get charged any monthly service fees. But you know what? You might decide, hey, this is kind of cool. I could see myself doing something like that, because most people do. Once they get into it, once they're having fun with the workouts, they're drinking Shakeology, they're seeing changes. So just give it a test run. Nah, I'm not really into that. All right. You know what? Let's get you started with a program. I want you to be a part of my challenge group. You're just super inspiring. And I just want you to be in my life. Okay. So you're still making them feel inclusive, but you're finding a way to keep them in your life, keep them close to you, because you never know when you could influence them. And when they decide, I really want to do this coaching thing. And then they decide on their own dime. Okay. Another scenario that is completely unrelated to coaching, and this coach, and I apologize for the life of me, if anyone remembers who was talking about this, I want to make sure that that coach gets credit for this scenario. But she talked about a good, better, best scenario for somebody that wants to buy a product. So the best, obviously, being the challenge pack, right? So they want to be in your part of your challenge group, and they want results. Okay, well, what are your expected results? You're asking questions, right? How quickly do you want them? Well, I want to lose about 20 pounds, and I'd like to lose it within like 3 months. Okay, this is my best scenario for you. And this is what I know, and I guarantee will give you results if you're willing to follow it start to finish. Do you think you're up for that? Yeah, I can do that. Get a challenge pack. You're going to get 21-day fix, and you're going to give Shakeology a try for 30 days. What do you think? Tell them they have, there's no obligation, full guarantee, empty the bag, that kind of thing. Yes, they have to return the whole challenge pack if they decide they don't like Shakeology, but you tell them what to do because they told you they want to lose weight and they want to lose 20 pounds in like 90 days. Totally doable, right? They're like, well, I don't think I want to spend $160 on a challenge pack. Okay, well, option B, let's get you started with 21-day fix. Let's get you the program. It's $59.95. We'll start you with a workout and we can work on your diet because that's exactly what you're going to get out of it. You maybe won't get the accelerated results that my customers have seen with Shakeology, but you're still going to get really great results using the program. Okay. That's your better. Your good is, maybe they don't want to do the program. Let's start you with the portion fix containers or the Fix8 cookbook, whichever one you feel is best. I want to start on your nutrition. That's going to be the catalyst for you to make changes. So you guys see kind of what I'm talking about and kind of running through, like, you start at the top. You start with coaching. Well, coaching is not really my thing. Okay, I want you to be one of my challengers. I want you to be in this group because you're super inspiring. You're super active on social media. I want your personality and your energy in my group. Okay. Well, I don't really want a challenge pack, so then you've got your good options. So you have those 3 tiers really to kind of run through as you're recruiting somebody into your coaching business or into your challenge group. Okay. So that's kind of the good, better, best. All right. Lastly, and the 5th way you're going to change your mindset is show confidence and enthusiasm for being a coach. People love, this is kind of a no-brainer. People love to be around positive people. They love to be a part of something. If they know there's a community, if there's an in to something, they want to be a part of it. See, and they're only going to know by the way you tell that story, by the way you share and you talk about it. People want to be a part of something when they continue to see you being enthusiastic, showing up every day, being positive, and sharing your life. Like, they want to be around you more. They probably are looking forward to what you have to say next. And you might not realize it because maybe you don't hear boo from them for 6 months. But you know what? 2 years down the road, when you get an email from them and they say, Taryn, I've been watching you for so many years and I just never felt like I was in the right space, or I wasn't ready, or whatever their situation is, they're finally ready because you showed up every single day and you were an inspiration in their life. And they were appreciative of you being there for them because you had no idea the impact you made on them by just showing up on Facebook or just showing up on Instagram. Okay. So, but show confidence. Act like you are a 5-star diamond coach. Act like you are a superstar diamond coach. Act like you are a big thing in this business because you know what? Your audience doesn't know any different. You're obviously not going to falsify information. And if you do talk about any compensation that you do receive from the company, obviously you do need to share the disclaimer that you can find in our policies and procedures anytime you're talking about income. But there's no shame in saying that, you know what, I just got paid this week and yeah, it's not much. It was $20, but guess what? It's $20 I didn't have last week. Or that $20 is going towards lotto tickets because lotto tickets are kind of my thing, right? Or I just made $300. This is the first time I've made $300 a week and I've been a coach for, 6 years. Maybe that's true, but like, that's kind of cool. And you still have to put the disclaimer, but that's just kind of a glimpse. People want to be like, oh my God, you know what I would give to have an extra $300 a week or $300 a month, depending on what part of the country, that's a really big deal for people. Heck, $300 a month is huge. It could be someone's car payment. But the moral of this is being confident and being positive and showing up every day is what you need to do in order to continue to show what your business is about. Because people are waiting and they're watching. They're always watching. And when I say they're always watching, don't be a hater. So, this is kind of like the do not things that I hate to see, but I feel like they need to be said. Do not be a hater. Don't hate on other companies. Don't bash other drinks or other direct sales companies, because it might be something that somebody really enjoys, right? And people bash on Beachbody, and I think it is so tacky. And it's tacky when other coaches bash on other companies. So don't ever do that, especially on social media or even in a dialogue back and forth. If someone's like, well, how does Shakeology compare to Visalis? Really don't want to be like, oh my God, Visalis is the worst. It's so gross. And I would never buy, don't say that. Just be like, personally, I don't drink it, so I can't comment on it one way or another. I can only suggest that you do your research. I can only speak to my experience with Shakeology, right? So that's how you got to spin it. Don't be controversial, not to say if you're super passionate about politics and that's always been something you started on, you talk about, then fine, continue. But, just be careful about some of the things that you say. And most importantly, your language, right? I don't want to say you can't swear and all that kind of stuff, but if you're trying to draw a certain audience and you're constantly having vulgar posts or cursing in your posts or showing drunk pictures, people aren't necessarily going to appeal to that. They're not going to see that as a lifestyle that they want to be a part of, because we own a business. And when you make the decision to be a coach and use social media to share your story, share your transformation, share how Beachbody's changed your life, you are now a business owner and you need to be professional about it. Right? You don't see Carl Deichler showing, pictures of him out being wasted, or you don't see him cursing. Yes, he's the CEO of our company, but you're the CEO of you. You're the CEO of your brand and your company. You're the only one that can determine what everyone's going to think of you based on how you present yourself on social media. So just remember that. And that's just not to say that you should change any aspect of yourself and who you are and what you want people to know about you, because you are you and they are attracted to you because of that. Okay. So I'm not saying if you were super political and you were a lobbyist and you talked about politics constantly to go all of a sudden cold turkey and not ever talk about it again. But, I'd say just don't necessarily go and all of a sudden go on a rant about the politicians and what you hate about them all and have never really talked about it before. So, just stay positive. And I think that when you go and look at successful coaches' Facebook pages, you'll see, or their Instagram or YouTube, you don't see them having to talk about drama and cursing and politics and stuff that's super controversial. Like, I have my opinions about things, but I personally decide not to comment about politics. I personally decide not to comment about controversial things. Do I ask controversial questions about stuff related to what I do or nutrition and that kind of stuff? Absolutely, because that's what I'm a part of and that's the industry I'm in. But I won't go and post things that are super controversial that I think are going to start getting people to unfollow me because they're super passionate about it. All right, so leave that for somebody else. Anyway, so those were my 5 things. Again, I'll review them just so in case you guys missed any of them. You're leading with the business, okay? If you want to grow your team, you're going to lead with the business. Your invitations are going to start talking about the business, because you know what? What's the worst that can happen? They say no, right? They say no, and you add them to your list of no, not now, but you know what? You still have an opportunity to talk to them about being a part of your challenge group because you want them in your life, okay? So number 1, lead with the business. Number 2, tell a story, okay? Story-based posts are huge. They're all the rage, okay? And it doesn't have to be about the program. It doesn't have to be about coaching specifically, but it's about your life and what this business, what these workouts have done for you, okay? Number 3, create a marketing plan. Know what your business is going to look like each week of the month. What are you inviting people to? What are you kind of feeding people into so you can ultimately take those people into the invitation process of learning about what you do as a coach, okay? Number 4, use the good, better, best model to help somebody understand what their best solution is, what they need most. And you're only going to know that by asking questions, right? So don't forget, that should have been one of them, is always ask questions. Find out what those needs are, okay? And last and final is show confidence and enthusiasm for being a coach. People want to see positive and happy things in their life, because God knows there is so much negativity going on in this world, and some people just need an escape from it. And I'll tell you, I do get a lot of messages from people to say, thank you for always being positive. My life's not positive all the time. Like, I want to rip my hair out half the time. But you might not see it on social media because not everybody wants to hear about woe is me, right? They want to come to Facebook and be distracted, and they want to see something positive because maybe their life sucks right now. And maybe they see, God, you know what? She just posted something really inspiring, and I really dig that. That's really cool. Okay? So that's what I have for you tonight. And dang, I cruised 36 minutes in, and I got that out to you guys. So is there any questions? I want to unmute anyone, and I will open up the chat box. We'll just chime in the chat box, or you should be able to unmute yourself if you've got any questions. So I'm going to leave a little minute for you guys. Let you guys noodle over questions. I'm going to see if I can hand the baby off.
Hi, this is Christy. I have a question. When you were talking about leading with the business, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Sorry, I muted myself because I was just talking to my husband. Yes, Christy, go on.
So I may have missed something from the very beginning. I think I got on a few minutes late. So you basically, you're friends with them on Facebook, or you've connected somehow, and you're getting to know them, you're forming them, and then you're going right into leading the business. How exactly are you leading with the business?
So basically what I do is you're going through the form process. So you're asking them questions. And so with your ultimate goal of finding out if they're going to be someone that you want to work with. Obviously, everybody you communicate with is probably not going to be your ideal coach. And probably not everybody you're going to talk to is going to be someone that you introduce the business to yet. Because maybe you just see they are a mess and they are not what you want to deal with. Because remember, these are your dream team. These are people that you want to partner with and you want to be a part of. But you're welcome, Kristen. But you want to make sure that these, and you're going to find out if they could be someone super great for this. So it has to come from a question. And so my example that I gave is, as you're getting to know them, they're a total cold market, or there's someone off your like page or Instagram, hey, thanks for liking my page. Tell me about yourself. What drew you to my page? I always love to get to know people and how I can support, or, what they enjoy most. And then you kind of get dialogue going. And then, well, what do you do? Oh, I'm a school teacher. Oh, cool. What grade do you teach? I teach 3rd grade. Is that something you've loved? Like, have you always wanted to be a school teacher? That's cool. I bow down because I couldn't manage a class full of students. But you see, like, you're kind of like, you're having conversation, you're making it about them, you're interested in what they are and do. And if maybe they say, you know what, I work on the railroad and I hate it. You do, what is your dream job? Like, what would you love to do? And so you're asking those questions so you can say, well, hey, I have an idea. Are you open to ideas? Or maybe that they have 21-day fix, or maybe they have P90X. So you hate your job, and I know you have P90X. Would you be willing to listen to an idea I have? And maybe they're like, yeah, shoot, go on. There's your introduction into coaching.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Is that helpful?
It's helpful. I think that's definitely a weakness for me is asking. That's something I need to work on, asking more questions and digging deeper.
It's probably everybody's weakness, and honestly, it took me a very long time to get there. But I'll tell you, my business changed when I stopped vomiting everything on email. Because it's really easy to get excited and just want to tell everybody about what we do and what we have in our challenge groups and my free this, and I have a team of this, and oh my God, Beachbody is amazing. But they don't care yet. They will. but they don't care yet. And you're only going to know that they're going to care when you ask those questions. And they're naturally, as you message them, guess what? You're going to pop up on their newsfeed more. And then they're going to go, huh, Christy, wow, that's cool. What's she doing? God, she was just with all those people. That looks fun. I wonder what that is. They're going to all of a sudden start going, what's she all about? What's she do? Right? And so you're going to pop up more. You're going to be more present in their life. And of course, you're going to want to be more present by liking and commenting on their stuff. But taking that offline and having a conversation behind the scenes and just asking them questions. You know, God, I saw you got hit with all that hail. Was your house damaged at all? I just saw the news. Like, it just looked awful. Like, yeah, it did. God, I just got, my windows are broken. It's going to cost me $500. Like, oh my God, and you could find ways to just pull things out of them. Right.
Okay, great. Thank you, Taryn.
You're welcome. And the one thing I'll say too is that you guys, this might be scary if you are switching your whole position and you're switching the way you talk about Beachbody, and now it's all focused on the business. But I promise you, if you just do it and you continue to do it and you be vulnerable and you be raw and you be transparent, I guarantee people are going to appreciate it. And be bold and don't be afraid to say, you know what? I think you need to be a coach. Or, you know what? This might seem really random, but I really want you to look into this coaching thing with me. They'll probably appreciate you saying it that way instead of dancing around it and kind of sidestepping it. Like, just be upfront with what you want to get out of it, because people are pretty intuitive and they can say, I think I know where she's going with this.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm just grabbing a couple questions off here. Thanks, Shannon. When is a good time to post? I heard somewhere 9 in the morning and 9 at night is when posts get seen most. Dee Dee, that's a great question. I'll tell you, it all depends on your market. When are your people on social media? So for me, I'm up at 5:15 and I do my workout. I film a little bit of my workout every time, and I immediately quickly edit it and I put it on Instagram and my Facebook page within like between 6 and 6:30. And you know what? I know that that's when people are on and looking for my video. But I find that it slows down in between that 9 a.m. time frame, because my niche market are taking their kids to school. So they're not on social media, because my kids start at 8:30. So I'm back at my house and I'm going through social media. But some of my mom market, their schools don't start till later. So they're not on social media. But most people are scrolling through Facebook and social media at about 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. So I feel like it's really that sweet spot of the early morning time. People are just getting up, scrolling through their phones at like 6 o'clock or before they go to bed, especially if they work full time. But Sandy Kurskowski, I don't know if you guys know who she is. She is a social media guru. Chalene Johnson refers to her quite a bit. And Chalene Johnson actually talks about it a lot as well, about you kind of want to post, like, think about those 3-hour windows: 6 a.m., 9 a.m., noon, 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and 9 p.m. Not to say you post all those time. If you posted that much on Facebook, you might kind of kill your audience, especially if it's all about your Beachbody stuff. But Instagram, you can post a little bit more. Twitter, you can post as much as you want. But those are kind of general timeframes that most people are on social media, is at those 3-hour increments, because then you post at 6 a.m., you might be catching the 9 a.m. audience on the East Coast, right? If you post at 6 p.m. on West Coast, you might be catching the 9 p.m. audience on the East Coast. Does that make sense? Hopefully I answered your question, Dee Dee. But again, you're going to have to know your audience and really know when they're on Facebook. And no, don't post that thing that's going around saying, I'm curious, post with this, that, or the other. Those are cute, and I think it's fun because you actually do. I mean, I see people's response go through the roof, but I saw it so often that I was actually turned off. And, so just be aware of those. When you see people constantly doing, like that kind of copy and paste post, don't necessarily follow the crowd, because chances are you're not the first person that's posted it and they're seeing it and they're like, why am I seeing all these people all of a sudden post it? Sorry, my little rant on that for a minute. Thank you, Taryn, for opening the call this new age. Oh, thanks, Carrie. I'm glad it was helpful. Do you ever use a form or application, or does that make it less personal? Erica, great question. And yes, so I use Google Forms because it's free and it's super easy and user-friendly to set up a form. I set up a free challenge form, and anyone that wants to be a part of any of my free challenges, which I'll tell you really quick how I run my challenge groups. I do a revolving door challenge group. I don't change challenge groups every month. I have one group only, because I've done multiple groups before and it burnt me out, quite honestly. So for me personally, doing a challenge group that is a revolving door has been the best for me and what I can manage, because I still have my team page and I'm still involved in other people's team pages. So I do one group, and I do a free challenge once or twice a month. It's generally been about once a month. But I invite people into my challenge group and tell them they will get private access to my group as part of this free challenge. And so, anyone that's interested, comment below. I can do a call on free groups, actually, because they are free challenges because they're really fun. But I do use the forms to vet them. So if they're willing to take 5 minutes and I say, hey, I'm glad you want to be a part of my, one of my challenges I did was a build a booty challenge, and people loved it. It was all about the booty. Chicks love that, right? And I said, hey, I want to know a little bit. I required to get a little bit more information because I want to know what your needs are. I want to make sure that this is geared to you. So tell me a little bit about yourself and give me 5 minutes, would you, and just fill out this form. If they take that time to fill out that form, I know that they are really interested in this, because I'm not going to just hand it out to 200 people that I'll never talk to, because then I'm not building a relationship with anybody and my business is going nowhere. So I do think forms are great. So I have a form for my free group and I have a form for my challenge group. And then I do have a coach questionnaire. So somebody that's interested in being a coach, I have one for that too. And I'm happy to share that. I could post it on my Team FitFluence page. I'll post it in the New Wave community as well, if that would be helpful for you guys to have an example. And it's something that I drew from other people's forms. So if you're in the New Wave community, if you Google or you search in that box, challenge group form or something, there'll probably be a bunch of examples that'll pop up too. The post drove me. Shannon agreed with me. Thank you. I noticed earlier is better for me to get chatter going. Also 9 at night as well. You know what, you guys, if you set your day and you can get a little bit of your power hour done, and meaning get your messages out, do your invites in the beginning of the day, then you have basically the whole day to allow for people to respond to you. And then you could do your follow-ups at nighttime. So that's a really great way to post in the morning, schedule your posts. If you do schedule them through Hootsuite or whatever, or Facebook page allows you to schedule them through the app. Then you can circle back at night, see who's commented, especially if you don't have access to Facebook and stuff during the day. You can come back and see what people have commented and follow up with those people, add them to your list, and kind of go through that process. You're welcome, Erica. Anybody have any other questions? You can unmute yourself or pop on the chat and ask away.
I have one more question, Taryn.
Yes, ma'am.
Instagram.
Yep.
How is that going for you, and how long has it taken you to build it up?
Instagram's going great. It's probably where I get a lot of engagement because it is just live streaming. Basically, it's not an algorithm yet. I know they're talking about using it as an algorithm, and they did this whole turn on your push notifications, which is one more thing that I did not follow. But I followed Chalene Johnson's Instagram Impact, and I highly recommend it for $99. She teaches you the ins and outs and what you need to do to build Instagram. I will say that if you have not mastered Facebook and that's really where you spend most of your time, master Facebook. I've been on Facebook for a long time, and I felt like I kind of really got the most out of Facebook, and Instagram was a natural evolution into expanding my reach. And so having 4 kids, I can't be on social media constantly, and I can't gain new followers by sitting there and going through and liking everybody. So I actually hire somebody through Upwork, which is formerly Elance, and I give her, this is a little secret weapon you guys are finding out about me, busted, but I have her, I give her exactly the criteria of people in my audience that I want into my tribe. And she goes out and seeks out those and likes and I don't ask her to comment, but likes on their posts. And I have, certain parameters, like I don't want any reps for other companies. I don't want any other Beachbody coaches. I want people that are in my niche market. And so that's how I've grown it. And, she spends like a couple hours a week and it's really, really cheap. And I totally recommend that if you're in a position to invest back in your business to do that. If you have the time, it's pretty easy to go and like a couple other people's posts every day to maybe get, 5 to 10 new followers a day. But I'm at the point where I need to start outsourcing some of that.
So are you converting them over to your like page or just?
Well, I post on Instagram and it posts automatically to my business page. So I kind of manage the both, because Instagram has a direct message feature. I use that a lot. I try and message new people like, hey, thanks for following me. I just saw the picture you had on your post. So I'm still forming, right? I'm using this as an option to engage with them. And then, if we want to chat more, then it's like, oh, what's your email? Are you on Facebook? So I do take it to Facebook because it's easier to have dialogue on Facebook to get off the phone.
Okay, great.
Or I ask for their phone number.
Okay.
Heaven forbid we actually pick up the phone and talk to somebody.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Are we all good, everybody?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Well, you guys, thanks for all your questions. Thanks for all of you for hanging out. I know that it's your evening, but you know what? We're investing into our business, and anytime, I learn from you guys, and if I can give you guys any value, it just makes my day. So I'll make sure to post the recording for your team and all the information, Dee Dee, you're welcome, that I talked about. I'll share as well, including that little category thing that you guys can start incorporating into your posts and how Beachbody's changed. So I'm hopeful you guys will see a shift in your business. So I want you guys to hit it hard. You're going to start recruiting. I want you to spend 80% on recruiting. 80% of your invites are going to be on recruiting for coaches. Okay? You guys can do it. I know you can. Have faith in yourself. Be confident and get after it. All right, you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you so much. Good night.
You're welcome.